Right, then let's get into the first fight for you this evening at BAMMA 15. I want to read you a quick quote. This is from Colin Fletcher. It goes as this: "I recently lost my bass sponge, so I'm going to punch a hole in Tony Hervey's face and steal his brain to use as my new one." Colin Fletcher takes on, in a lightweight battle, Tony Hervey.
Colin Freakshow Fletcher!
Last time I fought, no excuses, the better man won. I made a lot of mistakes, which I'd like to be able to rectify one day. Whether I can or whether I can't remains to be seen, you know what I mean? But I'm just here, and like I say, I want to be the best competitor I can be. I didn't ever see I was going to be the best fighter in the world. I didn't. In my mind, I'm kind of still a skinny geek who gets bullied at school, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? I don't go into fights very confident. I train my arse off to be the best fighter I can be, and as long as I'm competitive, I'm happy, you know what I mean? As long as people still want to see me fight, I'm happy.
Right, so here we are, BAMMA 15, and ready to make his way to the cage here at the Copper Box Arena. Tony Hervey, the Lionheart, 16 wins, 15 losses, a very experienced man. 11 of those 16 wins coming by way of KO, Frank, and he's from Detroit in Michigan.
Yeah, tough kid. Didn't start off very well, kind of just fought the fight. Didn't really train, just showed up to fight. As a result, we got a lot of losses, really for no reason, just for lack of ability, not for lack of ability, just for lack of training. Finally started training hard and heavy, is now taking the sport completely serious, as a completely different guy now.
And still only 28, so as we said, we were talking about how MMA is becoming an older guy's game because of that experience. When you look at his fight record, he's already got that experience.
And that's one of the biggest things that's going to happen too, when you're battling against a guy like Colin Fletcher, who's opponent tonight. You got to have a lot of experience because he is so unorthodox. He does throw a lot of crazy stuff at you. He has a crazy look, a crazy entrance. It makes things difficult if you're not prepared for it. And obviously, Tony Hervey's going to be.
Well, this is one of my worries for Tony Hervey because of his losses, of his 15 losses, 6 are from way of submission, and that's Colin's home, isn't it?
Yeah. Colin's going to look for a submission as much as he can, but also Tony Hervey knows that. He's watched the tape. He's paying attention to what Colin's trying to do. He's going to try to keep himself out of it. We'll see a lot of, especially early, we'll see a lot of explosive, jumping away, backing away. Anytime a submission attempt comes on in the first round, he'll jump right out of it. He's going to explode out of it. Hopefully later, he can keep that energy up for technique to technically get out of it if he gets caught.
Because the other thing we also saw, though, on the flip side for Colin, we know he can be hit, as we saw at BAMMA 14. So when you've got a man with 11 knockouts from his 16 wins, there's that chance as well, isn't there?
Yeah, he can catch Colin. He's going to have to do it a little bit later. He's going to have to survive the storm first, because Colin is always such good shape. That's tough to deal with him in the very, very beginning. You got to slow down a little bit, wait till later, wait till Colin loses some of his energy, then put him out.
So just getting greased up outside the cage, the Lionheart, Tony Hervey. 5'8". He's going to be a lot shorter than his opponent as well, Frank.
Well, Colin's kind of tall for the weight class. He's the exorbitant one. But yeah, going 5'8" to 6'2" is a big, big difference, especially talking about striking.
So the Lionheart from Detroit in Michigan is in the cage, waiting for the entrance of his opponent, as we all do, Frank. And his opponent is famous for his entrances. It's the Freakshow, Colin Fletcher. Immensely entertaining. You never know what you're going to get. 9 wins, 4 losses. 7 of those wins, as we said, by way of big submission. But Frank, BAMMA 14, which we had the pleasure to commentate on, what an incredible fight that was. Just 1 round, but it was amazing.
He has this thing with horse. He's trying to get a live horse to come in BAMMA 14. He tried to do it again, they wouldn't let him, so now he basically has his buddy dressed as a Horace Hervey walking in. It's a little stretchy even for Colin.
Well, I mean, he's a real BAMMA veteran, and last time out, we got just the one round, but we had the knockdowns, we had the submission attempts, we had everything in that fight. He lost it, but possibly one of his best performances.
I mean, he came out hard and heavy the entire time. He brought it and almost won by knockout. He just went after and finally succumbed out. What a character that guy is.
But he's not only a character, is it, Frank? We talked to him a lot before the fights. He's a lovely guy.
Yeah, he really is. He's fun to hang out with. We actually always try to have drinks after the fight's over, and his wife is just amazing. And you sit down with that family, and you just like his persona inside and getting ready for these fights is not the same persona that you would think of when you actually meet him. Extremely intelligent, very humble, very quiet. Just such a pleasure to watch compete because he does bring it every single time, and she looks for the finish the entire fight.
So just getting greased up, ready to go into the cage. It's the Freak Show. Colin Fletcher and Mark Woodard, even as he's checking him, is smiling. Everybody loves this guy. And the Freak Show is in the cage, and anything can happen now. And you can hear the crowd response. They love him. And what an entertainer this man is. So if we look at the tail of the tape, Colin is the older man, but just by 2 years. But look at that height difference, 6'2" to 5'8". And then the records. Vastly more experienced is Hervey, but 15 losses as well as those 16 wins. And some of those by submission, whereas the Freak Show a better record. This is going to be a great fight. The height of Fletcher against the squat man, Tony Hervey. And now we go to our MC for the official announcement.
Ladies and gentlemen watching around the world, welcome to the United Kingdom and BAMMA 15. We are set for the opening bout of the evening, presented by SMS Audio. This bout is scheduled for 3 5-minute rounds in the BAMMA lightweight division. Introducing first, the man standing to my left and fighting out of the red corner. He stands 5 feet 8 inches tall and weighed in at an even 155 pounds. He is a striker with a professional record of 16 victories opposite 15 defeats. Fighting out of Detroit, Michigan, USA, Lionheart, Tony Hervey. His opponent stands across the cage to my right and fights out of the blue corner. He stands 6 feet 2 inches tall, his official weight an even 156 pounds. He is an unorthodox fighter with a record of 9 victories opposite 4 defeats with 7 wins via submission. Fighting out of Sunderland, England, Colin Freakshow Fletcher. Your referee, Mark Goddard.
Goddard calling together.
Okay, gents, you both understand the rules you're fighting under. Listen to me at all times. Keep yourself protected. When I tell you to stop, you stop. You want to touch gloves, do it now. Let's do this.
So, Frank, it was so obvious there, the height difference as they came together with our referee.
Six inches is a huge difference. Looks like so much more even now.
And Hervey wasted no time. He tried to close the gap, ducking and then throwing the big hooks, getting inside the taller opponent, which is a traditional boxing move.
He's doing a good job so far. Colin, settle down a little bit. We've seen him throw a lot more rights, trying to keep Tony off.
Yes, and I think for Tony, I said against the taller opponent, it's a good tactic. If you get in quick, and then throw those hooking punches, because he knows where his opponent's head's going to be.
Difficult task of punching up to somebody that's so much taller than him.
Yes, he started fast. He came in, his southpaw stance now. Rear leg kick from the Freak Show, Colin Fletcher. Oh, good left hand landed there from Hervey.
Stuck it in straight down the pipe.
Very focused start from the Lionheart. Moving laterally around the cage as well, which is good for him. You heard the crowd response to that right round kick from Fletcher.
Right underneath the armpit, right below the guard.
I'm impressed with the start from Hervey, though sharp punching. He got in there nicely with his own midsection shot and got out quickly again. Because that's the danger against the taller man as you're coming in or going out, isn't it, Frank?
Yeah, staying in that zone, you're so far outside of your range that you think you're safe, and really you're still in his because he's so much taller.
And that's the other danger for him with that height difference. Fletcher just brought that knee up as they came in, and it's going to reach his head very easily.
He's chopping him down now.
Well, he's persisting with that right leg kick, and there's something we don't often see. Well, we did in BAMMA 14 as well, and you can hear the crowd's response. Fletcher opening up.
Good movement still by Hervey, trying to get in and get out. Good job getting off the cage in that last flurry as well. Wow. Colin walked right through it. That was straight shin on the chin.
Well, what I like by Hervey, though, is he switches nicely from orthodox to southpaw and starts to confuse Colin a bit from which angle he's going to throw that punch. It's a good opening from the man from Detroit. And from BAMMA 14 and what we saw from Colin there, I sometimes feel that you get the feeling that Fletcher really wants a knockout on his record. He's got those submissions.
Yeah. He almost, and he was so close to getting it last time. He kind of wants to get back in there again. Hopefully pull one off.
Again, short hooking punches from Hervey. But that's the problem for him, isn't it, Frank? When he gets in, he risks that, taking that back. It's a hard night's work for him with that height difference.
He's got to jump all the way in, strike as much as he can, and when he's done, he's got to jump all the way out. And it's so hard to do because you're legitimately talking about 2 feet, you know, as opposed to just a half step. You have to do almost two full steps to get out of the way. Oh, wow, that right snuck in there.
And the crowd respond once again. He brings a huge following, the Freakshow. Always entertaining on the way in and in the cage. And that right leg just slapping this time. But the body of Hervey already beginning to mark up and redden. And I like the way, Frank, that Fletcher, when he decides to close the gap, he closes it fast.
He's got a good position of stepping and cross-checking. He's not using the same kick every time. So even though it's his right foot coming out or his left foot coming out, it's never the same kick. So he's catching Tony completely off guard.
Oh, spinning hook kick. Oh, if that had landed with the back of the heel, that would have been good night, but Fletcher saw it just at the end there. Hervey still very much in this. Anything you can do, I can do better?
Yeah, pretty much.
So, we're inside the last minute, Frank, and the thoughts on the first round overall?
So far, very good by both guys. It's tough to call because both guys have kind of had their position changed, but you're going to have to give it to Colin because he had the flurries where Tony had to bail up and cover up and had to maneuver to get out, even though it was good defense, just didn't score as high as offense.
But you can't fault either man's game plan, can you? Because Hervey is having the right game plan. Being able to execute is a different matter, but it's the right plan.
It's a game with a taller guy like this. You have to be a lot more patient because it's not going to be apparent very, very quickly. Especially the guy like Colin, he's not going to give it to you right away. So if you want to win this fight, you have to wait to the second, third round. But Colin starts to slow down a little bit.
So the last 10 seconds has been a very entertaining opening round indeed. The Lionheart, Tony Hervey, really playing his part, getting stuck in. But Frank, overall, I think we'll agree, as you said, it's Fletcher's round.
Yeah, absolutely Fletcher's round. 10-9 Fletcher going to the second round. And really, Hervey's done a good job stepping, catching, throwing punches and bunches, and getting himself in and out. That was the opening flurry you see right there. He just dipped his head and got himself in and around.
Yes, and nice head movement.
Excellent head movement. The catch with a straight left goes low to the body and comes up high to the head.
And then we see the Freakshow coming in with there's the kick. And as you said, it was the variety that's impressed me from Fletcher this time out.
He's throwing stuff from everywhere right now, especially with his lace kick. He's kind of gone back to his Muay Thai style, which is better suited for him because then when he gets to the ground, they're not expecting it.
Yeah, so the cage door's locked. And here we are with round 2. Hervey certainly played his part in that opening round. So Frank, if you're in Hervey's corner, what would you say to him? You have to stick to the game plan, surely. You have to keep going for it and take those risks.
Wow, nice. Game plan is working. You're landing punches, you're landing kicks. Step all the way in, step all the way out. Be very wary of sitting in that middle ground. He's starting to stay in the middle ground a little bit longer than he needs to. And that's where Colin's going to catch him.
As he did there with the short right as Hervey came in. And that's the problem for Hervey. You've got to feel for him. He's got to get inside. He's got to take those risks. Nice movement, though. He turns beautifully.
I'm more impressed with his head motion than even his foot motion, because he's getting underneath. Every time Colin comes after him with a haymaker, he's getting underneath it and coming back out with something else.
But we're talking a submission expert here. When is Colin going to change that up? When are we going to see the takedown attempt?
You would think you would have saw at least some attempts in the first round, but Tony really has been running away as far as anytime there's an engagement, he tries to get as far out as possible. So Colin hasn't had a shot yet to go ahead and go after him, to go after and try to take him down.
And by the same token, although, as I said, Hervey has got in and got some good shots, he hasn't troubled Colin in that way, has he?
No, at all. He has not even looked at him enough to try. He hasn't landed hard enough to make Colin think about doing a takedown because he's stung.
So it's still upright here in the second. The Freakshow pushing forward with those front kicks now. Hervey back in that southpaw stance. And this is where, as I said, I agree with this. If he's going to be out of range, be right out of range.
Yeah, all the way out. It's so difficult to do because, like I said earlier, you think you're out and you're really not.
And this is where it's dangerous for Hervey. He's got to get in there, but for me, this is where he just doesn't want to be. You're either right in throwing that leather, because this is at the Freakshow's range. And a head movement as well from Colin Fletcher now, and we probably see more boxing from him in this fight than any time previously from him.
In the last 3 or 4 fights I've watched, this is way more boxing that he's done. He must have changed up his game plan, not want to be so much of a submission guy.
Hervey feinting the back fist there, teasing Fletcher with it, but he doesn't land it, and he's still in the Freakshow's range. And this is the problem for him getting, Fletcher with the spinning back fist. If that had landed, or the elbow had landed, that would have been it. Well, he's showing us a complete new set of tricks now, Frank.
He's pulling out of his bag, but there's no reason really to do it yet. He's not really scoring. I mean, he's scoring much for the judges and scoring a lot for the fans, but it's not really doing any damage to Tony.
No, there's certainly no damage there, and Tony's still focused.
Wow, Tony slapped him with a downward elbow. Slapped his hand out of the way to him with a downward elbow.
And trying to stay in the pocket there. He just grimaced as the front kick came through from the Freakshow, and that shows the problems he faces getting inside to work his man with that height difference. One thing I want to pick you up on, though, Frank, is he has remained patient and focused, Hervey.
He hasn't panicked. He hasn't gotten over-aggressive. Punching down at the thigh even, because the height difference, it's actually a good shot. Going lower in the gut, because it offsets him.
And let's look at patience the other way. Colin Fletcher seems happy with the way this is going. The Freakshow stayed there. He stayed at a single pace. If you look at this fight over the 2 rounds, this is the pace we've had.
Yeah, it hasn't changed. Neither guy's accelerated yet, but neither guy has also hasn't gotten that big stinging hit where they know that the guy's rocked a little bit. I think once you get a big stinging hit, one of these guys is going to accelerate quickly.
But that can be dangerous, Frank, because by the same token, it can also imply that both guys think they're winning.
True. Yeah, it could lull you into that false sense of security for sure.
Because when a fighter's winning in his comfort zone, if the other person's not being hurt, they tend to lapse into that comfort zone as well, don't they? Fletcher wobble.
Yeah, he's stung.
And Hervey knows it. Now we've got the pace stepped up. Hervey suddenly senses something here. He saw the legs go briefly, and he snaps at that southpaw jab as well, and he's looking to get right inside. It's amazing how, as you said, that that one moment can change it, that one punch.
And once you realize the guy's stung, you start stepping forward. You know it. You know you have to feel like a shark in the water. Obviously, you smell blood. You got to start going for it. Otherwise, you're gonna miss out on your prey. And Hervey went after it, so now I have it split one round apiece.
Yes, Hervey did the right thing there. For most of that round, they were in that, as we said, that comfort zone, that one pace. And then suddenly Hervey exploded into action. He's got great movement with his head as well, as we saw there.
He has dipped and ducked out of everything that Fletcher has thrown at him. Anytime it's come in that range, he's gotten out of the way. Great head motion.
There's the shot.
Just decent dip. See, there goes the false step.
Yep, the Bambi legs came in, and again, so Colin hadn't really recovered. And as you said, the shark smelt blood.
If he had landed flush with one of those punches that he threw, he would have put him down.
But with one round to go, there's a lot now for Tony Hervey to take heart from.
Yeah, Tony's doing really good. I'm really impressed with him. I'm impressed with how he's battling this fight and how he's staying in it and how he's staying patient.
Now, third and final round, is that a wake-up call for Colin Fletcher? He has not tested Tony Hervey's ground game whatsoever in this fight.
I don't know. It's interesting to see that Colin hasn't even tried a takedown at all. Usually by now he's had at least 2 or 3 attempts, if not a clean one, to sit on top and see, kind of feel the game. Find out if that guy's any good in the bottom, find out if that guy's any good on top.
Because if anything says to me, let's change up the game plan, it was the last 30 seconds of that second round.
Yeah, you're right. You know, and that's the thing is that Colin normally is a thinking guy inside that cage. He kind of adjusts throughout the round as well as in between. He gets really good advice from his cornerman. But he doesn't seem like he's done anything. He hasn't made any adjustments yet.
Well, as you said in the previous round, it was flashy, it was smooth from Colin, but it still only landed on the shoulder.
True.
And again, for me, in this third round, he stuck doggedly to a plan, walking Tony Hervey down, getting his shots, or trying to get his shots in, and that's what he wants the rest of the bolo punch there from Hervey.
Cut his head open.
It has, you're right, on the top of the head there, the bolo, and that will inspire Tony Hervey again. As the fight's gone on, he's grown in confidence. And I'm bemused by Colin's tactics, I've got to be honest, Frank.
Yeah, I don't know why he's competing like this now, especially now that he's got to feel like he's starting to get giving Tony a little bit of confidence. Take that confidence away from him. Either hit him with a 5-punch combination and slow him down, or get in there and take him down.
Well, if it's going to be in a good place, it's not a bad place for the cut. It's high on the head of Colin Fletcher, but again, it's just psychological to your opponent and to yourself when you feel that blood coming down and Hervey sees it. And actually, his body language, you can see the confidence in Hervey.
Wow. He started to throw kicks and punches at the same time. He's trying to take down, silly.
I agree with you, Frank. When you're having this amount of success and you've got a bloodied opponent in front of you and you're winning the upright game and you know he's a submission specialist, I would not go there.
To me, that made no sense. None at all why he would try to do a takedown right there.
Especially when Colin is allowing you to keep it upright like this.
Let's keep it here. Let's keep it in this space.
Dangerous times. We're into the second half of the round now. Well, 5 seconds from it, and Hervey is dominant in this third. So, 2:25 left, Frank. Colin has got to do something now. He's got to change this up. He's got to ask some questions. The knee almost landed as Hervey came in with his confidence, but he's got to do something different now, surely.
Colin's still kind of, let's say he's still kind of waiting on him to dive in, waiting on Tony to dive in and catch him on the way in.
And this time, Hervey's response is the spinning hook kick to the right hand from Fletcher, and it just shows the confidence of the man from Michigan. And again, he's been patient, he's been focused, he's been relaxed.
Very calm.
And just a little bit of a shuffle there with the footwork out of the way. And that has impressed me as well, his footwork. A good kick from Colin Fletcher, but Hervey looking to let those bombs go again. And well, we've got under 1.5 minutes. And it seems to me that Colin's been lured into this type of fight and mesmerized almost.
It's almost like he's hypnotized into staying in the space.
It's not the freak show that we know, because I said one of the things about him is his alert brain, the quickness of his thought. And he's been one pace tonight. I think that's the real problem. He's fought at this pace the whole night.
He never accelerated, never stepped forward. He has a slapping foot kick, you know, a slapping kick to the face with a foot, but it doesn't really do any damage.
And Hervey's totally comfortable with it and been allowed to do his own work. And apart from one moment of madness where he went for the takedown, he's done everything right. This could be a real upset here for the freak show. And again, why? Why?
And he slipped on the way in and made it look ridiculous, so it was useless all the way around.
And almost shipped a knee right at the end of that.
While he hammer fists from his feet.
You know, how to snatch defeat from the jaws of victory is right there, and it's crazy. Because this could be a real upset. Fletcher suddenly explodes, but it's with 15 seconds left. I'm really bemused by his game plan tonight. That's not the Colin Fletcher we've seen in so many fights.
At all. No, he's changed up his game plan again. I gotta be honest with you, I think Tony wins.
Well, I agree with you, Frank.
You know, we've had worse judges, so anything could happen, but I think Tony wins.
And for me, it's because of the same game plan that Colin Fletcher stuck religiously to. He never changed it. He never brought his B game or his C game at all.
Yeah. Jeez. I don't know what Colin was thinking about that one, but we'll see what happens. Hopefully he wins the judge's decision.
Ladies and gentlemen, we go to the judges' scorecards for the final decision. Kev Cable scores the bout 29-28 for Fletcher. Andy Roberts scores the bout 29-28 for Hervey. Judge Andy Haig scores this bout 29-28 in favor of your winner by split decision, Colin Freakshow Fletcher.
Well, Colin Fletcher has got the result. It's a split decision. I'm shocked, to be honest.
Colin, how we doing?
Yeah, very good. Hats off to Tony. I thought it could have gone either way, and I would have been happy to lose. I thought it was a good fight. It was very difficult to judge. That's why I was a little bit apprehensive. Wanted to pick me shots. I've seen history with Tony. I knew it would be very difficult to get down. Although I think if he'd initiated the takedown, I would have been better on the deck. But that wasn't the way it went. We had a fun 15 minutes. I hope you enjoyed it. As always, I'm here for you guys, and as long as you enjoy the show, I'll put it on.
Take me through this piece right here at the end. It's when he caught you with that big overhand right and he started attacking a little bit. Did it sting you at all, that first big right?
Yeah, of course. Tony threw some bombs. I took some bombs clean on the face. But this thing's been getting punched in the face for 31 years. I can deal with it. I'm a big boy.
Now, I gotta ask, you're such a good submission guy. Even though you're waiting for him to initiate the takedown, you don't want to try. At some point, didn't you think about, look, I just gotta get this to the ground and try to finish this off?
I'm my own worst enemy. I normally let guys try to take me down and then try to submit them. Sometimes I think the best strategy for me would be to take people down and try and submit them, but for the life of us, I can't bring myself to do it. I just enjoy having a fight too much. We're working on it. We'll get there. We'll get there.
Well, it's still a work in progress. He's getting there. Ladies and gentlemen, your winner, Colin Fletcher.